Audio Jungle.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to another DDLive. I'm probably going to be doing more of these down the line now that I have a second channel. I'm going to do a section in here about the second channel. How's everybody doing? Can you guys hear me? I hope you can hear me. I think you can. My little, what would you call that? Like a little seismograph? I don't think that's right. Rick Michaels, Richard Strange, Rosalia, Kyle, Nicholas Vincent, Chester, Mega Cat, Sebastian, Trina, Sir Drop Bear. Rosalia, did I say your name? Chris Snyder, not JPEG, Jason McFarlane, Josh Newman, Holly Klein. What's up, Holly? Did you get your Blu-ray in yet? I sent it a few days. You might not have gotten it yet. I sent it a few days ago. I was late on sending my Blu-rays out for my Patreon Live Hangout that I did. So I sent out a few of them the other day. So for Jason and Holly, and I still haven't heard back from Sean yet. I need to get his address. But that was fun. That was fun, guys. If you want to join in on the Drumdums Patreon live streams, the way we do it is we do every other month. We do a movie, and in between that, we do like this, I guess, like topics. But it's just me and my. It's more intimate. It's just me and my patrons, and I'll have them give me topics to discuss outside of whatever's going on in the news, and and I'll clip that stuff out and I'll dedicate it to them. So I've been, we're really interactive with each other, me and the patrons. We talk back and forth about, hey, do you like this? Or do you like this? Do you want to do a commentary every month? Or do you want to kind of mix it up a little bit? And they seem to like mixing it up. Every other one we do like a commentary, which is fun. So how are you guys doing? It's so loud and echoey in my freaking room. I don't like it. I don't like that. There's a little bit of Howard Stern for you. I don't like that. Flats, movies, and pop culture. What's up, man? Or lady. It could be a lady. Okay. What's everybody drinking? Got a packed show for you guys tonight. I should have like theme music playing behind me. Is that possible? I don't know. But I was thinking up all different types of ideas, and at first I'm like, do I have enough to talk about? But then by the time I get to this point, I have too much to talk about. But we'll roll with it, right, guys? We'll roll with it. Hey, guys, in the chat, let me know, what are you guys listening to right now? Okay, what was the last song that you played on your phone, or maybe you had a vinyl record that you just listened to, or maybe you had your Alexa. I said it. I have an Alexa in my studio, actually. Hey, Alexa, play. Oh, is Alexa plugged in?
What do you want me to play?
Oh, there she goes. Hey, Alexa, play. What can I play that won't get taken down? Hold on, Alexa. Give me a second, all right? She's so impatient. Jesus. Guys, tell me to tell Alexa to play something. Oh, I know. I got this. Hey, Alexa, play Nights in White Satin by the Moody Blues. Here we go.
Sure. Nights in White Satin, single version, mono by the Moody Blues from Herbert's Spotify.
Everybody, here we go. Hey, Alexa, turn it up. Nights in white satin. Can you guys hear that? Never reaching the end. time, never meaning to send. I don't want to turn it off. Always with these eyes before. Just what's the truth, guys? What's the truth? I can't say anymore. We got to get to the chorus. 'Cause I love you. Yes, I love you. Oh, how I love you. What a fucking song. Jesus. Alexa, turn off. Wow. If I blew out anybody's ears, I apologize. Jesus, that was beautiful. And that is, guys, tell me, what is the most beautiful song that you've ever heard? That might be it. Because that song, it just elicits emotions in me that I can't handle. Sean Sheridan, what's up, man? Sean Sheridan, he says, bring back Jamie as a direct sequel to Halloween 5. Halloween 6 was a bad way to end her story. You could easily do a 2018 reboot treatment with it. I'm with Sean, actually, and I know that me and Sean might be alone in this battle because most of the time when I start, I've made quite a few videos about Danielle Harris and coming back to the franchise, and I do get a lot of resistance. Guys, give me a yes or a no. Would you be happy with a continuing Jamie Lloyd story from Halloween 5? I need your answer right now. I need your answer, okay? Because I'm definitely, if the script's good, I'm definitely for it. You got to have all, like, on paper, Halloween H2O sounds amazing, okay? On paper, it sounds amazing, but the finished product, maybe not so much, And that's just me. I see a yes, I see a no, I see a maybe. See, right there. Yeah. Yes, bring back Jamie. I think a complete fresh start is their best bet. Yes. Yes, she should have been back already for kills and ends. I was hoping that she would pop up in one of those movies. But if you listen to her podcast, and all the shade that she was throwing at the current filmmakers. Well, I don't want to say that. That's rude. I don't think she was throwing shade, but she definitely didn't sound like she was too happy with the situation, And I know she really wants to come back, but I don't think she was getting some invites for this last trilogy. So yeah, but hey, I could clip this out, right, guys? If it's like 5 minutes, why not, right? Jesus. And that's a great transition into Drumdums Extra, okay? And I've gotten a lot of questions about this, even though I've posted it on my my community page. Are you leaving Drumdums and starting a new channel? I've gotten a few questions about that, and let me lay it all down for you right now. What is Drumdums Extra? Okay, if I go back, it's really, this is the reason why I started Drumdums Extra, because clips are big these days. If you go on YouTube, a lot of times people love the clips. Why do they like the clips? Because they like bite-sized material. I'd say the sweet spot's around 10 minutes. Am I right on this, guys? When you're driving in your car, you're going to work, you're going to the store. I do it all the time. I throw on a clip, of whatever I'm into. I'll throw on a 10-minute. That's a sweet spot. If I see like a 2-minute clip, I usually don't click on it. Because I know that's going to go by too quick, and then I'm driving and I got to find something else. But 10 to 20 minutes, that's like the sweet spot, right? So I started doing my own clips, I would say about maybe 2 years ago now. And here's the issue I started finding. Clips are doing fine. I'm getting, I get good views with clips, depending on the subject. If I do a Halloween update type clip, I'm going to get good views. It's not really the views, although that is affected, I think, somewhat. It's more the timing, because I would find myself at the end of a live stream, I would download the live stream, and a lot of times I would have 3 or 4 clips that I could pull from that live stream, And I'm impatient, and I want to just, once I have it, I want to put it out there. I need to learn to work on that. But yeah, that's my thing. Like, are you guys, like Chris Snyder, he's a YouTuber. Some of you are YouTubers in there. Do you have self-control with your schedule? Can you like make a video and then hold on to it for like a couple of weeks? And then you can put it out on a schedule. I'll put this video out on a Monday. I'll put this video out on a Wednesday. I can't do that for some reason. I have something wrong in my brain. As soon as it's done, it has to go out. That's been my issue all along. And so what I was doing was I would have like 4 videos, 4 clips, and then I would have this, Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny review or something like that. And so I would have like freaking 5 videos out at once. And then I would have like a space of like freaking 5 days or something like that sometimes, So I thought, you know what? I thought about this for long and hard for quite a few months. A couple times I almost did it, and I was like, no, I think, and I even like posted the question on Twitter a couple times, and I did get some people say, no, just keep it at the regular channel. And sometimes your subscribers don't know what's best for you. I've learned that, and that's nothing against you guys. I'm just saying, if you don't understand how YouTube really works, the mechanics of it all, the algorithm, then you might not be able to give the best advice. So maybe I shouldn't have asked. And I thought, you know what? The only way to combat this is if I make another channel. So I made Drumdums Extra. All right. It's not me giving up this channel to go to that channel. This is still my main channel. Okay. This channel has over 50,000 subscribers. I'm not giving that up. All right. Hell no. I worked hard for this. And really, what Drumdums Extra is fun. That's what it is for me. I don't really care about the views at all. It's like when I first started 8 years ago. And I didn't realize that until I started the channel and I started putting a little content on there. I was like, hey, this is kind of fun. Watching the subscribers grow, because it's been, I think, 2 days now and I have over 600 subscribers. And man, I get, like, it's weird. It's like I have that feeling that I had when I first started my Drumdums channel. Every subscriber you get a little tickle pink. It's a good feeling, So it's like I'm going through that whole feeling again, which is really nice. But the main reason for the channel is mostly for, I'd say, the clips. When I do the clips, I just, I put them, but I'm trying to do them one a day. I started it with like 4 videos, but now I have like a folder full of clips, and I'll just, once a day, I'll put a clip on Drumdums Extra. And I'm starting to notice that people they're coming, they're commenting, they're getting involved in the channel, which is cool. And that's great for a channel that literally just started from nothing. So, again, main channel is still the main channel. All right. This is my new release reviews. That's going on the main channel. My catalog reviews, like I just put out, the Final Terror, stuff like that, deep cuts. All my reviews are still going on the main channel. Most of what's going to be on Drumdums Extra is like clips, my drum box videos, unbox videos, stuff like that. Maybe some non-horror type stuff. You've already seen a couple of ranking type videos, but they're more live ranking type videos. Okay, if I do more of a produced ranking, then it's probably going to go on the main channel, unless it's non-horror. That's kind of up in the air. All right, so that is what Drumdums Extra is, and it's not one of these channels. At least I don't plan for it to be where I drop some content and then I walk away from it for like a month, 2 months. No, I want to keep Drumdums Extra as plentiful as Drumdums. Okay, maybe even more, depending on how. I choked. Okay, depending on how many clips I pull. I'm not gonna just pull anything that's not. It's still got to be. I guess you could call it like viewer friendly, algorithm friendly. Like I don't think I'm gonna pull a clip on how to properly make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Or maybe I will. I don't know. How do you make have you ever tried a triple decker peanut butter and jelly sandwich? Now we're getting into the real talk. So yeah, that's Drumdums Extra. I've put a link to it. I pinned it in the chat there. So if you haven't subscribed, I urge you to subscribe if you like my normal content, especially if you like these little bite-sized clips of these live streams, because most people don't want to sit and watch a 2-hour live stream unless they're doing like a long road trip or something like that. Yeah, Blackberry Jam is good stuff, Trina. Do you guys love like freaking what is it? Homemade jam, homemade jelly. That is the best. Oh my god! And I never hear anybody talk about apple jelly. You know, apple jelly is I think highly underrated. You tell me, what is the most underrated jelly flavor? All right, and more importantly, creamy peanut butter or crunchy peanut butter. All right, write down creamy or crunchy. Okay. Yeah. Fachi, what's up, brother? I'm going to be going on Fachi's channel here in a couple weeks. Yeah. Creamy, crunchy. Strawberry jam is better than all other jam. Apple jelly is awesome. Crunchy, creamy. I'm seeing more crunchies than creamy, if I'm being honest. Bacon jelly? Fuck that. I'm not eating that. One time I ate, I had a chocolate chip cookie, and I wrapped it in bacon. I was curious. It wasn't good. It was, and those two things you would think, because they're like the greatest thing ever. Really, those are two of my favorite things: chocolate chip cookies and bacon. But don't put them together. Maybe eat the bacon first, and then for dessert, have the chocolate chip cookie. Right, guys? Carly, what's up? How are you doing? Oh shit! I definitely tried bacon jelly though. I can't. Just thinking about it, I can't do it. Yeah, you got to have milk, Mega Cat. Milk with an Oreo cookie is like the best. Like, you can't beat milk with an Oreo cookie. It's awesome. Maybe I will clip this out. Who knows? Jason, what's up, brother? Backtrack Cinema, guys. Make sure you go over there, subscribe. He's doing a lot of those deep cut, like 80s action type stuff, and he does some like horror stuff too. Okay, but yeah. Oh man, OG Goober's Swirl. I like that too. Is that, Rosalia? Is that where they mix the jelly and the peanut butter? The jelly and the peanut butter, they mix it. Yeah. So yeah, jam-packed freaking show. Okay, Jason, what's up, brother? How you doing? Jason Miller, born Slippy. Yeah. Candy bacon. Is that where you put like a candy coating over the bacon? So like the bacon's like the creamy center, although it's the bacon center. Hey, Polly, that's okay. You arrived precisely when you needed to. All right, you're never late. Hell, I'm the one that's always late on these live streams. I could bullshit with you guys all freaking night. Like, it's hard for me to Polly, you missed it too. I was playing Nights in White Satin on my Alexa. I can't say it loud because then she'll say, What do you want, asshole? Damn it. See, she just rang. She scares the shit out of me too. They need to make an Alexa horror movie. You know what? I'm checking that right now. I'm copywriting that. An Alexa horror movie. Okay? Hey, Alexa. Would you like to be in a horror movie?
I don't know that one.
Yeah, she might not be ready. They have to write it, but it would be interesting. I'm sure that there might even be one, but it would be cool if they had an Alexa horror movie. Okay. Now, before we get into the, let me tell you what I got. Okay, so I got some Halloween. I got 5. What would you call it? I guess 5 topics for Halloween about the way ahead. This is going to be very interactive, so I'm going to need your attention, okay? I need you guys to stand up straight and take your hands out of your pockets, all right? We're going to have a good discussion about Halloween. Also, we're going to do my 10 movie series, and we're going to talk about horrific scenes that are in non-horror movies, okay? So can you guys give me one? Give me an example, okay? Horrific scenes in non-horror movies. All right, give me an example. I want to give you an example, but I don't want to waste the example that I have. But it's not a horror movie, but there's a scene in the movie that kind of scares the shit out of you. There's probably a lot of these older 70s movies. Like you know what? I can give you an example, okay? Clockwork Orange, all right? Clockwork Orange, when his eyes are being like held open, forced open. That scene, it fucked me up. Trainspotting is a great example. Trainspotting is a great. Saving Private Ryan, good example. Chris, Curb Stomp, American History X, that might be on my list. Might not. Might be, though. Cool as Ice. Yeah, there we go. Now we're getting down to brass tacks. Twilight. I did it. I'm sorry. Oh, God. Showgirls, right? That's a serious answer. I think there's some horrific, scary shit in Showgirls, if I'm being honest. It's a dangerous world, okay? In Showgirls. Apocalypse Now. My review, I think I even referred to it as a horror movie. Like, it does have horror elements in it. See, we're gonna have fun with this discussion, okay? 7. Oh my God, Trina, you are so freaking right. The knife rape. Oh my God, that scene. Oof. 7's got 7's technically like a thriller, but we'll count it. We'll count it because it's not straight up horror. But damn, yeah, 7's got some crazy. I would even say 7 is probably scarier than most horror movies that come out today, if I'm being honest. Right, guys? Yeah, Fargo. Oh yes, Wood Chipper. Man, Fargo is fantastic too, Nicholas. Thank you for bringing that one up. Man, Fargo is so damn good, it doesn't have the right to be that good. That's how good Fargo is. Hey guys, speaking of Fargo, because the first time I watched Fargo, I wasn't expecting anything from it, and I didn't expect to be blown away by it. What is the last movie that you watched and you almost were you didn't really want to watch it that bad, but then after you watched the movie, damn, that was really, really great. What's the last movie that did that with you? Okay, did that for you? I got to slow down my words, Assassination Nation. Never heard of that one. Naked chicks who like to show her boobies. Not surprising, Mega Cat. RoboCop 3 for being lousy. RoboCop 3 is horrible. House of Wax. I guess my answer would be, and I'm not trying to be artsy and smart and all that bullshit. Okay, I'm being honest. All right. I would say The Strange Vice of Mrs. Ward. I didn't know what to expect from that movie, and I came out of it wow, I loved that. That was really good. 1972, I believe. Yeah. Really good. Dave Vanderhoff, what's up, brother? Yeah. Fractal in the house. Namer. All right. I got a buddy of mine. We've been friends pretty much ever since I started YouTube. Him and his brother used to have a YouTube channel, and now they are filmmakers. Or I think he's the filmmaker. Matt Fessel. And, he's a busy filmmaker. He works, I don't know if he works in Hollywood, but he's he holds the boom mic. I know that's part of one of the 100 different jobs that he probably does on the movie set. But he has a trailer that I want to show you guys real quick. It's called Eileen Pines. Okay? It's a low budget horror film. Most of his movies are horror comedies. All right? And I always want to support him. So I'm going to show you this trailer real quick. All right, so let me show you this trailer real quick, all right? Eileen Pines. All right, here we go. 3, 2, 1, and play.
Last Halloween that we all got together.
Yep. And the year before that.
It's me and Mrs. We're gonna head out to that killer costume party that everyone will not shut up about from the day we moved in.
You talk a lot.
What's up with getting here, by the way?
Yeah. I thought you were all coming together so we could get out sooner this time. Last year we were late.
I'm sure they're just moments away then.
Got some cool music. Ooh, that's gnarly. Was that a predator? It looked kind of like a predator.
Oh, and in case I forgot to mention one other thing.
He's so weird.
So weird. It's a really last time.
Jesus. So that's Matt Fessel's movie. He said they're in post-production right now. So looks like a Halloween party type environment. And you're always going to get like some good jokes and that stuff. So be sure to be on the lookout for that. I'll put if I get like some updated information as far as like when that comes out, I'll definitely put that out on my socials. But Matt's been such a great friend for so long. And so I always want to support anything that he does. He's always supported me too. So just a good friend, very talented guy too. Very talented guy. So yeah, Eileen Pines. Look for that. Do we want to do the Halloween news first? Not news, but just the Halloween topic. Let me pull the chat back up here. I lost my chat on my freaking OBS. I tried to like download the latest version of OBS, but yeah. By the way, that trailer, somebody brought up this idea for like a good topic to discuss that we might do in the future. Hear me out on this, okay? And I should have wrote his name down, but he was on one of my videos for on my Drumdums Extra channel. So the topic is best nightclub scenes in horror, and you could come up with probably a good at least 10, right, guys? Nightclub scenes in horror, because that had kind of it was like a party environment. So I guess you could say like a party scene too. Usually the two go hand in hand. Obviously, the first one that I think of is Fright Night. Yeah. Chris Snyder beat me to it. Fright Night. Fright Night's probably the granddaddy of nightclub scenes. But then you got Rosalia coming in strong with Blade, which is really, really a great start. You know, if you can start off a movie with a great freaking nightclub scene, like The Collection, thank you, Chris Snyder, then you're doing something right. Nicholas, the Terminator, is oh my god, that might be my favorite actually, just because of the tension. Like that is as far as like building tension, the first Terminator I think nails it, just nails it. That gradual build, oh, so good, so good. As a matter of fact, I was just watching Terminator 2 today. You know, I was having my my lunch, and I threw on the old Netflix, and they've been having a lot of Arnold movies, you know, because they got Arnold's documentary on there. And so I've been going through like some of Arnold's movies, and some of these movies I haven't seen in like ages. But Terminator 2 is a movie that I've seen like 8,000 times. And it's great every time, you know? And it baffles me the quality drop from Terminator 2 to all the rest of the Terminators. You know, take your pick. I mean, straight to Terminator 3. There's I think there are guilty pleasures. There's some fun to be had in those, but man, that sharp drop, like that's just how great of a director James Cameron is, right? Like he, you know, separating the big dogs from the little people, the little guys, little people. Yeah, James Cameron, man, what a director. Attention to detail, and Terminator 2 is so good. Holly says, she brings up a great question. What's the better movie, guys? Terminator 1 or Terminator 2? All right, I'm expecting to see about half and half on this, all right? I would definitely say Terminator 1 has always been my favorite. Maybe that's just because I'm a horror fan. But I think technically, story-wise, Terminator 2. But as far as like me, the popcorn movie, the movie that it's so fun and easy to get through, the first Terminator. Because Terminator 2 is a long movie too. It's like 2.5 hours. But yeah, both are like, Chris says, why not both? Both are literally like perfection. 10 out of 10 movies, So I'm seeing a lot of T2 actually. Bob Berkins can't make up his mind. He says, no Terminator 1, no Terminator 2. What did Polly say? Hold on, let me go back up here. I got to see it. Because Mega Cat said, Polly, what the hell? Polly, what'd you say? Damn it, I can't find it. Yep, I missed it. Damn it. Polly, you don't have to type it again if you don't want to. But, yeah. All right. Let's do this. Let's do the... Oh, by the way, guys, I got funnies tonight, too. Hey, do you want to see a few funnies? Maybe I give you like maybe 3, 4, or 5 funnies before we jump into the Halloween discussion. You tell me, okay? You tell me. Or do you want to just jump straight into the Halloween discussion and save all the funnies for at the end? Okay, yeah. I got some yeses in there. All right, so let's do a few funnies. And then we will we'll jump into I'll just do a few, and then we'll do the rest at the end, okay? Just because you guys asked, and I love my audience, all right? So let's do a few funnies. All right, here we go. All right, starting off with a bang. A hand does change everything, right, guys? I guess depending on the picture. But, like, how do you diffuse the situation? You got this nice, tender moment. But at the beginning of the moment, it was, anger and rage. And, yeah. So, by the way, guys, Rocky 3, am I right, guys? The face-to-face, because every Rocky movie, he's face-to-face with his opponent, right? Except for Rocky 5, I guess. But as far as like the face-to-face, I would say Rocky 3 is number 1. Am I right, guys? When Rocky and Clubber Lang are face-to-face and they're almost about to kiss, you can really feel the tension and the anticipation for these two, Especially the second fight. The first fight, Rocky's going to get his ass whipped. But man, that second fight, you can tell, Rocky is just shot out of a cannon. He's ready to go. So, I guess the I Must Break You is a good one too for Rocky 4. But, yeah, I'd say Rocky 3. Do you guys agree with me on that? Rocky 3 is the best Rocky, not even close. No, it's not the best Rocky movie, Doom Turkey. But as far as the face-to-face goes, it's the best. I would say Rocky 3, and I did like a ranking with the Creed movies up to Creed 3. I think it's somewhere in the middle. I love Rocky 3, though. Yeah, it's good stuff. Really good stuff. Yeah. Okay, next funny. This one's called... here we're going to get some discussion going right here. All right? This will wet your whistle a little bit. Okay, here we go. Lacey Lou actually posted this on Facebook. What's your preferred trilogy? I want the real timeline. I said the real timeline. Perfection. So, you got Halloween, Halloween 2, and Halloween 4 through 6. So this isn't a trilogy. This is a timeline, a full timeline. You got Halloween 2018, the David Gordon Green trilogy. And then you got Halloween 2, and H2O. Okay, so option 1, option 2, or option 3. What say you guys? Okay, what say you guys? I don't agree, just because I'm not a big H2O fan. My preferred timeline is option 1. That is my preferred timeline. Option 1. All right. Mega Cat says 1. Brock says option 2. All of them, I don't care. Just give me some Halloween. There you go, Carly. That's the spirit. Depends on my mood. That's true too. That's true. Fractal says 3. Trina says 2. Definitely not 2. Zodiac. Option 1. So I'm with Holly. I'm option 1 all the way, because I can sit and watch all 6 of the first 6 movies and just be in a good old mood. Okay. Polly says none of the above. Polly, are you not a Halloween fan? Maybe she's not. Polly, what's your favorite franchise? I don't think I've ever asked you that. What's your favorite horror franchise, Polly? H4 is my original ending. Yeah, if you ended the entire franchise with H4, it kind of makes sense, right? It's like starting the whole thing over again. That's exactly the way you should end the Halloween franchise, Very true, very true. Okay, this one's called Draw Well, okay? I like to give them a name. Draw Well, all right? Don't overthink it, okay? Don't overthink it. When someone draws very well, you draw very well. I laughed at that one. I thought that was good. Sometimes, simplicity is key. You just got to give the simplicity, right? I'm going to give you 2 more, and then we're going to jump into the Halloween discussion, all right? 2 more, and then we jump in to the Halloween discussion. All right. So this is female Fast and the Furious. Did you hear, guys, they're thinking about a female Fast and the Furious movie? I think this is true. A female-led Fast and the Furious spinoff is officially in the works via Variety. So it is true. But then if you look down, there's this funny comment that gives a plot synopsis, which I don't know if this is true, but we'll read it. It says a gang of female drivers has to keep stealing cars to replace the ones they crashed while trying to parallel park, I think. Yeah, trying to parallel park. Can you imagine all the wrecks from just parallel parking? Ladies, come on now. They're just jokes, all right? They won't hurt anybody, all right? Come on now. Hey, at least Holly admits it. Women can't. I think women can't parallel park. They just can't do it. All right, one more, and then we jump into the Halloween discussion. All right. This one's called "Fuck Off, Barbara." Okay, we're gonna go out with a bang on the funnies part 1. All right, "Fuck Off, Barbara." Here we go. So this lady on Twitter, she said, Barbara Brown. She said McDonald's sucks. And so McDonald's. Now we're gonna have a discussion about this tweet, okay, guys? Because McDonald's first tweet was "Fuck off, Barbara." Nick, put his name down. Nick, employee of McDonald's. Then McDonald's says, "We are very sorry about Nick's actions. We have let him go. Please contact us for a free coupon." Now, here's my question. All right? Because I think there's some tomfoolery and some shenanigans going on there. All right? I think Nick wrote both of those. He wrote the first one because he was like, you know what? Fuck this bitch. And he wrote down "Fuck off, Barbara." And then he wrote the official statement after. So that's how McDonald's gets away with telling people to kindly fuck off. They double down with like a quote unquote official statement, right? Yeah, Nick wrote both of them. Richard Strange, I think you're right. Nick definitely sent both. The satisfaction. I love it. All right. So let's go over to the Halloween discussion. All right, we'll start off. I pulled this from an article. Okay, let me close this out. All right, so we're gonna open this. There we go. Okay. Now this is an article that's a little old. It's from January 29th of this year. All right. The Halloween franchise's best future is to copy Friday the 13th. There's a loaded statement right there, guys. I could have put that in the title of this stream, but I was like, you don't need to do that. I'll save it for them when I actually start the discussion. All right. Halloween franchise's best future is to copy Friday the 13th. All right. Do I have your attention? All right. Let's read some of this article, okay? The Halloween series has been struggling with its most recent entries, but the incredible popular slasher series could still work if it followed in the footsteps of Friday the 13th. Except for Halloween 3, every Halloween movie follows Michael Myers as he goes on a murderous rampage. Unfortunately, this formula has gone stale after all these years, which, I mean, I don't want to piss people off, but that might be part of the reason why I liked Halloween Ends. There's a whole discussion there to be had, I know, but I guess that was my reason, because I didn't want more of the same. All right, I'm going to continue reading now. All right, don't throw your computer. All right, just hang in with me. During this time, Friday the 13th has been preparing a way to reinvent itself completely. John Carpenter's 1978 film Halloween was incredibly influential, and basically that paragraph is stating that Halloween influenced Friday the 13th, all right? And then Friday the 13th was one of the few that was extremely successful franchise-wise, all right? That's pretty much what that's saying. I don't want to waste your time, all right? So, Friday the 13th has always been about Jason Voorhees terrorizing teenagers, typically guests at Camp Crystal Lake, although the formula is sometimes shaken up in movies like Jason X. However, the franchise is finally being completely reinvented with the upcoming Friday the 13th prequel series, Crystal Lake. Crystal Lake is completely shifting focus away from traditional Friday the 13th stories, a decision that the Halloween franchise needs to follow. Michael Myers' slasher stories have been done to death, and Halloween needs a new story to tell, continuing the trend that may save Friday the 13th and Crystal Lake. Let me stop right there. And let me think for a sec. All right. Because there's a difference there. The difference being that I think there's more of a story to tell before Jason comes into play. You know, you have the whole camp story environment with a young Pamela Voorhees. You got a young Jason Voorhees and his death. I think there's just a lot more to play with. All right. Whereas with Halloween, before the first Halloween, you pretty much had a 6-year-old Michael Myers, and there's not much known about his parents. You know, like Pamela, we know a little bit about her. There's enough to form a good story with Pamela, but as far as like Michael's parents, do we even care about Michael's parents? You know, because here's the problem with Halloween, comparing it to Friday the 13th, is Halloween is a very different killer. Michael Myers is really a blank evil slate, all right? We like him that way. You know, Rob Zombie kind of proved that to us. Even if you really love Rob Zombie's Halloween, you don't love it for the reasons that you liked the first, or maybe even the first few Halloween movies. You know, part of that allure is how Michael Myers is pretty much just a blank slate, evil incarnate, right? Jason's a different story. Jason's not evil incarnate. So you can tell some of the backstory of Jason and get away with it and not be upset. But if you start telling a little bit too much of, you know, the why of Michael Myers, you know, his parents, what did they do to him? Or maybe they did nothing to him. I think you kind of like, you have no options as a writer. You know, and I'm just thinking out loud here, okay? I'm just trying to think what that story would be. Or do you cover Myers' time in Smiths Grove Sanitarium? I think there's a little bit more meat that you can chew on there with that. And you could do a full TV series leading up to his escape. I think maybe there's your answer right there. So maybe that's what they're saying anyway, but I'm thinking out loud here. Let's see if that's what they say, all right? Let's see if that's what they say. That's what I think, though, all right? That's what I think. All right, so Crystal Lake was wildly different than the previous Friday the 13th movies. The series acts as a prequel, expanding on the universe. Let's go down a little bit. It seems most likely that Crystal Lake will be about the Voorhees family, including the events. Okay, we don't need to read that. Halloween has the perfect setup to copy Friday the 13th. Here we go. Let me take a drink. Okay, we're going to be on this discussion for a little bit, guys. I got notes after this too, okay? I came prepared. All right, I came prepared. Anyway, here we go. The many Halloween sequels have yet to reinvent the franchise, especially compared to what Friday the 13th is doing with Crystal Lake. However, getting rid of Michael Myers and trying something new would be the perfect way to breathe new life into Halloween. Let me reread that part. Getting rid of Michael Myers and trying something new would be the perfect way to breathe new life into Halloween. Do you guys agree with that? Do you guys agree with that? And that's not a loaded question, because I do agree with that. Even though I would miss my boy Michael Myers, I think there's two answers to that question. Or maybe there's one answer that works out best and you get both of them. I think you spend some time exploring everything except Michael Myers, and eventually Myers comes back in maybe like 5 years. I think that's the way to do it. Anyway, continuing on. A trick that the series could borrow from Friday the 13th. Halloween already has the perfect setup for a show like Crystal Lake, expanding in the franchise's universe, even if it isn't a prequel. While future Halloween projects could focus on new killer like Corey Cunningham. Ooh, that's interesting. Because, guys, could Corey Cunningham be alive? And really think about that before you knee-jerk answer, okay? Because think about the rules of the Halloween franchise. Think about if Corey was Michael, okay? If that was Michael Myers, unless his head is chopped off, can he come back? That's an easy answer. Absolutely he can. We've seen him do it 100 times. Does Corey have supernatural powers? Yes, he does. He has the evil floating inside him. So they could actually continue with a Corey-type story. All right. A more interesting story was already set up in Halloween 3, Season of the Witch. That's debatable. But I'm thinking out loud here. Do I prefer the story of Season of the Witch over the story of Corey Cunningham? It's close. I do love both stories. It is really close. I don't have an answer. I'm like dead even. Halloween 3, Season of the Witch introduced the Silver Shamrock Company, which specializes in manufacturing Halloween masks. In the third film, the Silver Shamrock Company becomes incredibly popular among kids. So they're basically giving you the plot rundown for Halloween 3. All right, let's get to the. Okay, for a relatively minor part Halloween franchise, the Silver Shamrock Company has a lot of lore. Using that pagan, they use that pagan magic, incredibly advanced technology, killer bugs, androids, and so many more elements that are entirely foreign to the rest of the Halloween movies. Despite the Halloween reboot trilogy ignoring almost everything from the sequels, the Silver Shamrock mask appeared in Halloween Kills. With Silver Shamrock still being around in the most recent movies, it seems apparent that the Halloween franchise has more. Halloween franchise has more it wants to explore with Silver Shamrock. A project focusing on the company instead of Michael Myers would be a great way to invent Halloween. So they don't go with my idea. I think that's an obvious thing too, is to do the whole Season of the Witch thing. Tie it in with the Haddonfield story. I mean, we've talked about this before too. To me, I think that's kind of the obvious answer too, is you make a TV series based around Silver Shamrock, and maybe you sprinkle in a little bit of that, the Myers roots in there, maybe even the Strode stuff. Yeah. So I don't think I need to read any more of that. I think that's pretty much the gist of it. Now let me ask you guys this, all right? Because I'm always curious into seeing what you guys think. Would you guys prefer a Silver Shamrock TV series, or would you prefer a Smiths Grove Sanitarium prequel-like TV series, which is kind of like what they're doing with Friday? They're doing a prequel series. And I would welcome both, if I'm being honest. And if I have to think about it here, I'm not gonna lie. I gotta be honest. I would be really curious about Smiths Grove. As much as we want to, I think Smiths Grove. I think Silver Shamrock is the cool answer. Okay, but if those options were laid right there in front of you right now, you have to pick Grab one. I think some of you might grab the freaking the Smith's Grove. Just because, out of curiosity, you know, a young Michael Myers told in a different way than Rob Zombie did. Have him be silent the whole movie. Like he really was. I mean, Loomis confirmed this. Loomis said he hadn't spoken a word in 15 years, you know? So we know that he's silent. So stick with that idea. But I would still definitely be curious about a Silver Shamrock. And I think you have a lot more options to go with a Silver Shamrock idea, for sure. So let me bring up my notes now because we're not done. We're not done. Okay? Okay. All right, here we go. Here we go. And let me take off this real quick. No? Yeah. Okay. And these are just some ideas that I came up with. Gary, thank you. He says, not a popular opinion, but I want Halloween movies every October based on different stories like the original plan. They can still do Michael movies. I would, that original idea for Halloween 3, like, let's think about it this way too. If Halloween 3 would have been a big hit, then we might not have seen, I think we'd still see Myers eventually, but probably not as soon as we did. I think they would have continued a new Halloween story every year route. I think they would have done that. And it would have been cool, but I think eventually they would have brought back Myers because I love Myers in 1 and 2, you know? And I'm trying to think back when I was young because I saw Halloween 3 pretty close to around maybe a year or two after it came out. Erica, what's up? Nice to see you. I saw Halloween 3. I think I rented it on VHS, probably in the mid 80s. And I was really, really upset and pissed off. So I didn't know the whole drama behind the scenes with the movie. I didn't know that it was this huge box office bomb. You know, I didn't really know too much about box office talk back then anyway. I was really young. But I do know that around the same time I watched Halloween 3 is kind of when I started getting into the franchise, and I watched 1 and 2. And I remember loving Myers, you know, big time. And I really wanted him to come back. So... But yeah, that's a good topic actually. Gary, thank you, Gary. I appreciate the super chat too. Okay. Now this is where we get interactive. Okay. I'm going to need your attention here. I'm going to need your opinions because these are 5 little ideas that I, came up with for how do we reinvent Halloween, okay? Now, here's something that nobody's talking about, and I thought this could be interesting. Okay. David Gordon Green's trilogy, what if they did a part 4? What if they did a part 4? We know that Myers is dead, okay? But we know that the evil did pass to Corey. What if they did a Corey Cunningham continuation? And guys, I think there is potential for a spin-off franchise if we did this. You could start a whole new trilogy of Corey Cunningham. Give me a yay or nay in the chat. Is this something that really pisses you off, or is this something you're like, you know what? Let's give Myers a break and let's have a Corey Cunningham killer. And keep in mind, Corey's young. He's 21 years old. Corey could talk. You know, he probably wouldn't talk as much, but Corey's not Michael. So there could be little differences between the characters. Guys, if I'm being completely honest with myself, I wouldn't be against it. Okay? I'm not saying it's my first choice, but I would be curious. You know, if they had a really good trilogy written, I'll even say this. All right, guys? David Gordon Green and company, they don't have to be a part of it. What if they gave it to a fresh, new director? Because remember, Carpenter was a pretty fresh and new director when the first Halloween came around. What if they can't, they had this young, fresh director that's passionate. He's eager. He loves the franchise. Kyle, I love that. Yeah, that'd be awesome. And yeah, what if he uses the Corey mask? I think that'd be even cooler, right? So you could look at it as a spin-off series, not necessarily a straight up Michael Myers Halloween series. And it opens the franchise up for, a lot more possibilities. So I'm not against David Gordon Green Part 4, or Corey Part 2. Would it be Part 2? I guess you could start a whole new trilogy, but I'm not against it. Okay? And by the way, guys, Allison, still alive. So you have a lot of different areas to play with there, Kind of dig that idea, actually. Okay. Direct sequel, but only allowing the first few minutes of 78, no Laurie. Ooh, we're going to get there. Hold on. Okay. All right. Option two. Okay. Reboot, start fresh. Completely new story with Michael Myers. You get to see a 21-year-old Myers again. And, I'll go ahead and say this too, all right? You could kind of combine my option 2 with option 5, But there's two different options there, because if you reboot and start fresh, do we want a Laurie Strode timeline again? Do we want to go down that road again with a different actress, a young Laurie Strode? And really think about that, because I had to tell myself too, because my knee-jerk reaction was, no, I'm done with Laurie Strode. But am I done with Laurie Strode, or am I done with Jamie Lee Curtis? Okay. Laurie Strode is an extremely important character in the franchise. She really is. She's like Ripley in Alien. Do you get yourself in trouble by not having Laurie Strode? And they did it sort of with Halloween 4 through 6, and I think it was just fine. Matter of fact, I've even said this. I prefer Rachel to Laurie. So, but I'd say 4 through 6 still is occupying that same plot structure, same type characters. It would say based on characters created by John Carpenter, Deborah Hill, because of Laurie Strode and Michael Myers. So, and I don't know if this makes it better, but what if you just had Myers and a completely new set of characters with new names, maybe even new reasoning? Maybe like there was a treatment out there. Somebody brought this up too, of Halloween, and it was based more around the holiday, and the killer, he comes out every Halloween. It's like something is ignited inside him, and the holiday is what makes it happen. There's no Laurie Strode, like that's not necessary. He's not after his sister. It's Halloween. He wants to kill on Halloween. That's the whole thing. And that could work. That's actually kind of interesting. So, yeah. But even that's kind of a reboot type situation, I guess the real question is, do we want a 21-year-old Michael Myers? Does that matter to you? Okay. Option 3, go the Halloween 3 route. Take a break from what's going on with Michael Myers and all that. We just had Halloween Ends. Yes, Michael Myers was in that. What if we take a break? We do Halloween 3. Maybe we do a trilogy of movies with a completely different Halloween story. And maybe that trilogy could be connected, or you could even do like a TV route. Personally, I think I'd rather go the TV route if they're going to go Halloween 3. Stretch that story out, because there's a lot of different moving parts you could explore. So I'd be more for the TV route if they're going to go the Halloween 3 route. Not that I would be against a movie, but I just think there's a lot more meat that you can chew on in a Halloween 3 type story, Let me see Jason's let's see. Man, it's a different time, so it would have to be written really well. That's true. That's very true. So before I go on, are you guys done with Laurie Strode? Do you want say yay or nay? No Laurie Strode or Laurie Strode? I'm curious to see what you guys think. Pick up where Resurrection left off. I mean, they were going to do that. You know, they were literally thinking about doing that. You know, I don't know if you guys have read that Halloween Returns script by Marcus Knudsen. I did a video on it probably 5-6 years ago, and his script is really, really interesting, and could be fun. There could be a lot of fun in that script. And is that something that's still on the table? Is that an option? You know, I'm really curious to what's in Malik Akkad's head right now. You know, because like the David Gordon trilogy or not, this new trilogy made a buttload of money. Okay? A buttload of money. Like crazy money. More money than all the other movies combined. So I guarantee you they're thinking about their next move. Gary says, not gonna lie, H. Kill's flashbacks made me want classic young Michael in a clean mask. It's been years since we had that in Halloween Resurrection. Guys, do you want the clean mask? It seems like the thing to do these days, not with just Halloween, but even in like the latest Scream movie, you got to have the mask looking, grimy and dirty and gristled. That's the thing they want to do now. They did it with Leatherface in like the Leatherface remake. It's like they don't want to go back to the clean white mask. Do you want the clean white mask, or do you need your mask to look all kind of dirty? Wesley Cox says do a sequel to Halloween 4, Return of Michael Myers. Well, Wesley, we were talking about doing a sequel to 5. Actually, picking up for Jamie Lloyd. They have a lot of options here, honestly. They really do. And I know Danielle Harris is on board. Danielle Harris wrote her own treatment, actually, and gave it to Malik Akkad. So, that's on the table. It's definitely on the table, but I kind of wonder if that's like, maybe like a last option. I don't know. There's a lot of young, talented writers out there, and there's probably a lot of different ideas for Halloween movies. They've seen so many scripts. So I have a feeling. Here's what I think. I think the next Halloween movie is going to be a Myers movie, but I think it's going to feel new and fresh. Not as opposed to hip and scary like everything was in the 90s. Somebody was getting paid by the term hip and scary because everything was hip and scary in the 90s. But yeah, I think they're because a lot of people were pissed off by Halloween Ends. They don't want to go down that road again. So I think they're going to have a Myers movie, but something fresh and fun. That's what I think, And I think I don't think it's going to be a trilogy. I think it's going to be one movie, and let's see where we go from there. That's what I think they're going to do. And I think it's going to be like a young Michael Myers. That's what, not necessarily, a 21-year-old. I think that it's going to be where we don't really know exactly where we're picking up in the timeline. That's what I think. Okay. Next one. Okay. Here's the thing right here. Don't rock the boat. And that's kind of what I was just saying. They don't want to go back and piss off half the fan base or even more with Halloween Ends type stuff, And really, I think the original idea was let's the first movie in the David Gordon Green trilogy. Let's wrangle you in. We want to go, like Mustafa Akkad would say, back to the basics. All right, that's what the idea was for Halloween 2018. Then we let you kind of pull back or lean in a little bit story-wise with Halloween Kills, get a little bit crazier, make it like the ultimate slasher movie. And then the third movie, because of how much money they made, they probably were like, okay, it's the third movie in the trilogy, go hog wild. What can it hurt? Because We've had so many of the same movie over and over anyway, right? What's it going to hurt to have one movie that's probably going to make a good amount of money, you know? So let's just go ahead and let David Gordon Green go hog wild. I bet that's what the idea was for that trilogy. If it was just one movie, I guarantee they would have made him, you know, stick to a certain template. So, yeah, Don't Rock the Boat is just basically let's do Halloween 2018 again, you know, or let's reboot, but let's keep it. Let's honor the core feeling and mood of Halloween, right? Let's don't make people go, what? They're doing that? Are you kidding me? No. You know, basically Michael Myers getting loose and killing, you know, a group of people. Basic slasher, like Halloween 2018. So, and I'd said abandon, so I'm not going to repeat myself, but abandoning existing characters, and I think I got the vibe from you guys that you're kind of for that. You don't really want another Laurie Strode timeline, and I do agree with you. Even though I said I'm done with Jamie Lee Curtis, I think I am kind of done with Laurie Strode as well. You know, I compared her to Ripley, but she's not Ripley. Okay, she is one of the most important final girls in history. Don't get me wrong. Okay, but this is the Michael Myers show. All right. And we've had a lot of Laurie Strode, so I think it's I think they know that if they do another Laurie Strode, it might alienate some of the fans, you know. So, yeah, those are just my thoughts for Halloween. You know, just some food for thought going forward. There's a lot of options that they can do here, and who knows where we could go. All right. Megacat says no Sarah Connor either. I'm thinking out loud here, but was it a bad thing to... I don't think it mattered. You know, because Sarah Connor was a big part of 1 and 2, but she wasn't in 3. She wasn't really in Salvation. She has like a small little... You hear her voice. But it was the Terminator show. You didn't really need Sarah Connor in every movie, right? You didn't even need John Connor, even though John Connor's in more movies, but they fucked that up like royally every time. I mean, after the second Terminator, they pretty much screwed up John Connor just about every time. I actually didn't mind John Connor in part 3, if I'm being honest with myself. Nick Stahl, is that right? Yeah, he was pretty cool actually in part 3. But it was just the movie around. Like I really didn't like what they were doing with Arnold in that movie. You know, they kind of made a joke out of him, especially in the beginning. I'm gonna butcher this name. Okay, Satyendra in Dhoni Banerjee. I am so sorry. I know I freaking butchered the hell out of that. What about a Dr. Loomis movie, his treatment and research of Michael, but more in depth? Yeah, and that's kind of what I was talking about with the option of doing like a Smith's Grove type movie, you know? Where you kind of explore Loomis's relationship with Myers. If I really think about it, though, I don't know if I like the idea because Loomis is such an important character to me. He's one of my all-time favorite characters in cinema. And I think that's because of A, Donald Pleasance, and B, restraint. You know? You give just enough. That relationship between him and Myers is so fragile. And I think Donald Pleasance, he attacked that role perfectly. He didn't give too much. He didn't give too little. You know, it was. I think it was perfection. Their whole arc together. So if I get a little bit too much, because it's not going to be Donald Pleasance in the role, there's a big chance to really screw that up. I would, if they wanted to try it, I would welcome it. But that's part of the reason why I love the Halloween franchise so much. Loomis and Michael. You know, that's getting right down to it. If this whole franchise was based around Michael Myers and there was no Loomis, then I wouldn't be the Halloween fanboy that I am. Okay? You got to have the Loomis in there. And I think that's why some of the later movies maybe suffered a little bit for me. I've always missed Loomis, you know? That last scene of Halloween 6 when he's just standing there. It's just, he's like, I got some business I got to attend to. And his last moment was with Myers, you know? Because I think there was this connection between Loomis and Myers. They kind of understood each other a little bit, even though you can only crack about 5% of Myers and everything else is just rage, you know? And ever since Loomis has been out of the picture, they haven't really focused on the rage as much. I think the rage is so freaking important with the Halloween franchise. That was the allure for me. What was it about this guy that he just had so much rage in him, you know? He wanted to kill so bad. And Loomis was a big part of that. Okay, and I had another super chat here too. Hold on. Gary, he says, all new characters like Scream and let Michael travel to different places. Guys, what do you think about that? About Myers not being in Haddonfield. Is Myers being in Haddonfield important to you? I mean, I'd say not necessarily. And I saw somebody mention, was it Holly that mentioned Myers in the snow, which could be cool. You know, I mean, we've had Myers in Haddonfield so many times that, yeah, I think I would probably welcome moving Myers to somewhere else, you know? Kyle says, hey, Lee, would you collab with We Watch the Movie? Absolutely. I mean, we've done the Hollow streams together every single time. Yeah, I pretty much, let's just put it this way. Anytime Mike and Jay asked me to join them, I would never say no. You know, they're really, really good friends. So, yeah. Love those guys. Yeah, and he did go to California in H2O. I would have rather him went to Oregon in the winter. Maybe that's part of my problem with H2Os. It's just too damn sunny. You know, I don't want Myers in a sunny atmosphere. You know. So yeah. Okay, so that's it for the Halloween. Now we're gonna do a fun topic. We're gonna do horrific situations in non-horror movies. Okay, I got 7 movies here for you. And as a matter of fact, let me pull up I had on Facebook because I asked this question. Let me see. Yeah, it's this one. Let me pull this up. Yeah, let me, just to give some credit here. It's not that one. It's this one. Yeah. Okay. So I asked this on Killer Flicks, and I think a lot of you guys said the ones that I chose here. And I just saw a mess. I don't think Jason Nike would mind. He says, this image terrified me as a kid, and it was Rambo getting the knife slit across his chest. Oh my God, that's a great one. That's a great one, actually. Okay, the baby drug trip scene in Train Spotting, Jamie Honeycutt. Kyle Durant says he refuses to participate. Jason says Horsehead in bed scene, The Godfather. Yes, that's a good one. Sean Mickey, he mentions No Country for Old Men, and I'll tell you right now, just the killer in No Country for Old Men it's like they took a killer out of a horror movie and put him in more of an action drama. Because that, man, Javier Bardem was terrifying in that movie. You know, that movie needed Chuck Norris, okay? Poor Thomas J. in My Girl. And Jim Telford says RoboCop. And just kind of skimming through a few of these. There's Chris Snyder. He says The Curb Stomp in American History X. We'll see if it makes the list. Lacey Lou says the cake scene in Matilda. I don't like scenes where somebody's forced to eat like crazy. Like, I guess in 7, you know? Chris, was that from one of the scary movies? I can't remember. I think it was one of the scary movies. Yeah. Yeah, Alana Jade says Passion of the Christ. Whew, I watched that in the theater. Whoa, that was very heavy. Okay, very heavy. So let me get rid of this. And I'll start with Passion of the Christ, because I can kind of tell you my experience with that. Like, wow. Okay. All right. Well, yeah, I'll have that up there too. There, Chris, there's your American History X. Yeah. Okay. So horrific scenes in non-horror movies. Before I talk about American History X, let me just say I saw Passion of the Christ in the theater, and it was completely silent. And then, during the scenes where Jesus is getting, ripped apart, this woman in the background, she just lets out this wail. Like she's crying, but she's crying like vocally, like very, very loudly. And the only thing you heard was her, and I don't even want to demonstrate it because it was horrific, and it made the experience that much more strange. But yeah, I mean, Mel Gibson, and I don't want to get all religious here and everything, but Mel Gibson, he wanted to pretty much make Passion of the Christ as realistic, I guess, as possible, to try to show what Jesus went through the whole thing. And I think it's effective in that sense. It was like, I think it was too much for a lot of people, but it's a good answer. It's definitely a good answer. Now, American History X, Edward Norton himself is pretty terrifying in this movie. If you haven't seen American History X, he is a white supremacist. And this movie, this is probably one of the greatest character arcs I've ever seen in my entire life. But at the beginning of the movie, there's a burglar coming to his house, and he runs out and he puts the guy on the ground and he curb stomps him. And just the way it's directed, the way they showed it was just absolutely brutal. Let me take this. Let me see. Yeah, I gotta take that out. Okay, yeah. And man, that's a great movie. American History X. That's for a long time. That was like one of my all-time favorite movies. It is so freaking impactful, so good. But yeah, and the story is he goes to jail. And, he's extremely racist, and he goes to jail and he befriends, the only guy that will be his friend is a black guy. And so he learns to soften his heart, and he learns that, and I think when you grow up in a certain environment, you've never left home, you've been in the same location, and you hear the same beliefs, and that goes for any belief, not just racism, but, even religion, everything. It really helps to get some experience away from, your comfort zone, where you live. One thing that helped me was being in the military, and I moved every 3 years. And I've been to places like Kuwait and Saudi Arabia and Oman and Afghanistan and Korea and Japan. I've been to so many places, Germany. And I think that's why I'm just so accepting of everything and everybody, and really I don't get offended by much at all, because we're all here on this rock and we're all different, and that could be from our belief system, that could be from just our location. And yeah, TDY, yeah. I've had a lot of TDYs. But yeah, I think that really kind of shaped who I am as a person, because before I joined the military, I lived in Mississippi. And I mean, I'm not going to talk bad about Mississippi, but some of the what's the word I'm looking for? You get a certain perception from really the South in general, So I'll just say it was a good thing for me to get away from home, away from my roots, I guess. It's always good to go back to your roots, but it's good to get some life, and get some different experiences. And man, I've had so many experiences in my life, and it's, if anything, it's made me open-minded to just about everything, So that's why American History X is a really great movie, because that's the message of it. He goes to prison, of all places, and his mind gets opened, you know? All right, so next one. Yeah, that was American History X. Next one is Casino, another one of my all-time favorite movies. I do love gangster movies. As a matter of fact, I watched Carlito's Way last night. I'm such a De Palma fan. I know Scorsese directed this, but De Palma, like lately too, I've been in such a mad De Palma mood. And I've been going through a lot of his movies. You know, I reviewed Blowout recently. I'm going to be reviewing Body Double here pretty soon. But man, I just, like visually, I just love the way Brian De Palma directs. And it doesn't matter the genre, because Carlito's Way is a straight up gangster movie, but it still has that De Palma feel where the camera will like be up here and it's like moving its way down and then onto the subject, and then it'll shift to the right or the left depending on what's going on. He tells the story with the camera, and not all directors do that. Some directors, they just like to let the camera sit and have the actors and the subjects do whatever they're going to do and tell the story in front of it. But no, De Palma says, let's take that camera and let's tell this story. You know, let's create mood. And man, he's just a master at it. But another director that does that in a different way is Martin Scorsese. One of the all-time greatest directors ever, one of the most influential directors. One thing, when you watch a Scorsese movie, you realize that this is a director that does not pull back at all, you know? And he would actually be perfect for horror. And he's done like Shutter Island. You know, I'm surprised he hasn't done more horror, because he's got some shocking stuff in his movies. And Casino, the reason I love Casino so much, it's not because of the shock value, although that's part of it. It's because of the world with the whole casino lifestyle in the 60s, I think. The characters, like nobody has better characters in his movies than Scorsese. And Joe Pesci as Nicky is terrifying in this. Just a terrifying character. You don't want to get... And Joe Pesci, I don't know what his height is, but he seems pretty short. But I'd say Nicky from Casino is one of the most terrifying characters I've ever seen. You know? You don't... Like, there's one scene I love where, you know, because everybody's afraid of Nicky in the movie, right? And he's at De Niro's place. And there's this guy there that's kind of, you know, he's a bank. He's like an owner of a bank. And Joe Pesci, you know, Nicky, he says, I'm going to come in the bank tomorrow. Here's what's going to happen. I'm going to come in the bank tomorrow. You're going to give me my money. Okay? If you don't give me my money, I'm going to crack your fucking head open. You know, it says it just like that. Matter of fact. And then he says, then you're going to be going to the hospital. And then about the time when you come out of your coma and you're getting better, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to come down to the bank again, and I'm going to crack your fucking head open again. Okay? You know why? Because I'm stupid and I don't give a fuck. It's like, that is one of the greatest freaking scenes ever. But to take it even further, in this movie, the very ending of the movie, spoiler alert, Nicky, you know, he gets killed. Horror Coffee, what's up, brother? He gets killed at the end of the movie, and he is beaten to death with a bat, and then he's buried alive. And still to this day, I'd put that up against any horror movie I have ever seen. It is shocking and brutal. And I think one reason Martin Scorsese's violence in his movies is so effective is because it feels real. It feels like the violence that you would see if you walked out your front door and someone stabbed somebody to death outside, you know, or beat somebody to death with a bat. That's a different type of violence than what you normally get in like horror movies, you know? It's kind of hard to explain, but you know what I'm talking about, you know? Yeah, so Casino, what a movie, guys. What a freaking movie. Amazing. If you've never seen Casino, do yourself a favor. Wow. And since we're on Scorsese, might as well give you Goodfellas too. Well, this is kind of the opening scene of Goodfellas. You know, everybody gives Tarantino the credit for shifting his structure around in his stories, but Scorsese was doing it long before Tarantino. He would take a scene that's in the middle of the movie and put it at the beginning, and then or take repeat a scene, or put the beginning at the end. You know, whatever makes the story more compelling, right? And by doing what he did, he took a scene from the middle and he put it in the beginning, and then he repeated it later. You know, and this is a scene where Billy Batts, he'd just gotten out of prison, and again, Joe Pesci, he plays Tommy in this movie. And there's just, I'm not going to give you the whole thing, but just him getting out of the car, going to the trunk, because they hear this bumping in the trunk. So they stop the car, they go out to the trunk, they open it up, and there's a bloodied up Billy Batts in the trunk, and he takes the knife and he just stabs him to death. So they start you off with a whoa, it's whew. If you're not, it's brutal. It's brutal. So next one, and a lot of people, I think this might be the number one movie that people mentioned on Killer Flicks. Okay, here you go. There you go, RoboCop. And there's one reason why RoboCop has some horrific stuff in it, and that's because of Paul Verhoeven. And I would say Paul Verhoeven probably has at least one element of every one of his movies that's shocking. Even Showgirls. Showgirls has some shocking stuff in it. But what a director. Paul Verhoeven's another one of those directors. He's one of my favorite directors. Signature style. If you're familiar with his movies, you almost know immediately that it's a Paul Verhoeven movie because, like Scorsese, like De Palma, he deals in excess. He's not afraid to show sex, show violence, and push the envelope. Most directors don't. They have a comfort zone, but not Paul Verhoeven. So, and just about every one of his movies are really great. Basic Instinct. A lot of my younger viewers might not remember this, but Basic Instinct, that movie was huge back in the day when it came out. Everybody was talking about it. It was kind of like what Nirvana did to the music industry. Here comes Basic Instinct, shakes things up a good bit, because there were like erotic thrillers, but they were like B-level. They weren't good. And then here comes Basic Instinct with a great director, a really good story with a shocking twist. Sharon Stone giving a freaking Oscar-worthy performance. Was she even nominated for an Oscar? She should have been, as Catherine Trammell. I should have put her on my list as underrated killers. I've done an underrated killers list before. What's up, Brooke? How are you doing? But yeah, Paul Verhoeven, man. But yeah, RoboCop, the scene where Murphy, he gets killed, literally killed, and then he's kind of salvaged and turned into RoboCop. I think he's like an inch from death, and then they bring him back. But the scene where he's killed is brutal. Okay. All right. I got two more here for you. Two more. Okay. Two more. Here we go. All right, guys. Requiem for a Dream. Whoa. Anytime you get movies about drug abuse, there's always scary stuff in them anyway. And I guess pick your poison. It could go, because there's so many different scary elements about that lifestyle to begin with. And this movie, it's a heavy watch, directed by Darren Aronofsky. And, there's nothing pretty about it at all. It's just the ugly side of drug addiction and how low you can go. And I don't even know if I can even let's just say there's can I say the word without getting in YouTube trouble? if you've seen the end of this movie and the situation that Jennifer Connelly's character gets herself into at the end of the movie, let me just say, I was just talking about last week. I was just talking about, what would you call it? Like controversial cinema. What was it? What did I call it? I can't remember. Shocking type stuff, like Terrifier. I guess this is kind of more realistic, I guess, in nature, but this would fit into that category quite well. Let me look. I had the word here, and it's going to drive me crazy if I don't pull it up. Hold on. I have it right here. It's fine. I'm looking up a word. There you go. Okay, so exploitative. Yeah, exploitation. That's the word I was looking for. Yeah. You could file this movie under that. Exploitation, showing things that normally you're not going to see in movies, pushing the envelope. Yeah. And depressing. Like Kessler said, yeah, Requiem for a Dream, it's a tough watch. It's just not a movie that you're going to throw in every Saturday afternoon, okay? You gotta like pep your, you gotta be ready to watch freaking Requiem for a Dream. Zodiac, California with a K. Brad Pitt. Oh my, Brad Pitt is pretty damn scary in that movie. That is a great pick, Zodiac. That is a really great pick. I love California. It's a movie that not too many people talk about either. Have any of you guys not seen California? Early 90s? This is like, I think he probably filmed this right around the time he did Thelma and Louise. And if you ever wonder if Brad Pitt's actually a good actor, watch this movie. And, if it's possible, he literally tries to make himself look unappealing in this movie, if that's even possible with Brad Pitt. But yeah, I mean, he's just going for a great performance in this movie. It's I just watched it again, I think a couple years ago. But it's one I used to watch constantly, all the time. It's a great freaking movie. But yeah, he's pretty scary in that movie. That was a Zodiac. Great. That was a great example. All right. And then the last one, and this is a good one. And I can give you my experience. The first time I saw Reservoir Dogs, I was feeling really uneasy. Because they set you up by showing you the subject, this cop that they got. The cop's a good guy, right? And they got him tied up and everything in the chair. You spend a little bit of time with him, get to know him. And then here comes Mr. Blonde coming in there, Michael Madsen. And you don't know what he's going to do to the guy. You just know that he's there to torture him, okay? And I think that's the misinformation, the not knowing what's going to happen to this guy is what makes it scary. What makes it scary. And it is. I felt very uneasy for this sense. Like, I mean, what is he going to do? Just because a movie's not considered horror, that doesn't mean it's not going to shock. There's so many examples of movies that do this, all right? Destiny, what's up? And boy, this might be number one, if not in the top three, because before he even does what he does to the guy, you're already like kind of freaked out, I mean, Tarantino just beautifully directed this movie. His first movie he directed too. But yeah, he like pulls out his switchblade and he cuts the guy's ear off, And yeah, what a freaking movie. What a freaking movie. Reservoir Dogs. I could watch pretty much any Tarantino movie. I'm down. I could watch it all. I love it. Horror and Coffee. Thank you very much. That's one I meant to put on here. I forgot. Scarface, the chainsaw scene. This might be the first non-horror movie that I watched that freaked me out. That particular scene, just because of how real it felt. You don't want to be in that situation, with this drug dealer, this really seedy motel room, And you don't trust anybody. When you walk in the room, there's just shady characters in every corner. And you're constantly like, looking over your shoulder. You got Tony Montana in there. And then they have this guy like tied up in the bathtub. And Tony Montana has to watch this guy get killed with a chainsaw. And by the way, again, Brian freaking De Palma, guys, if you haven't went down a freaking a run of Brian De Palma movies, do yourself a favor. That is a freaking director, okay, who can do any genre, and he's done freaking horror, he's done action, Mission Impossible, dramas, he does it all, erotic thrillers. Just he does everything, but it's all tied together with a certain flair, But I just remember this is a case where you don't actually see the chainsaw going into the body. You just see the reaction of the guy that's getting killed, because the blood is like flying on his face, and the reaction of Tony Montana, because he knows that he's next. And so he's got to get out of this situation. And, Scarface is one of the greatest freaking movies ever made, guys. Like, seriously, Scarface, do yourself a favor. If you like, guys, do you like really great dialogue in movies? Like, just dialogue that chews up scenery, and you could just sit there and watch it for freaking 4 hours straight just because the dialogue is so damn good. Guys, give me, what is the best movie in your mind dialogue-wise, I would say Scarface. Scarface might be one of the best movies ever with great dialogue. Everything Tony Montana says, I'm hanging on for dear life. It is amazing. That's a freaking actor, Godfather, Scott Lauderdale, yeah. Scarface is a masterpiece, Nathan. I've seen Scarface on my TV always be on AMC. Great. Funny enough, they used to have, MTV Cribs, and back in like the 90s, they would have these rappers. And there was a rapper, I can't remember who it was, but he literally had a TV installed in every room, and I think one of the TVs was playing Godfather on a loop 24 hours a day. So he said, every time I go in that room, every time I pass by that TV, I'm watching Scarface. That's his favorite movie was Scarface, and that was like the most important movie in his life. I got a kick out of that. That was really cool. But Once Upon a Time in Hollywood's a great example. Tarantino, man, he's just a master of dialogue. Goodfellas is one that I used to constantly watch because of the dialogue. Just Scorsese's another. Have you guys seen Gangs of New York? Gangs of New York's another great one where I can just hang on the dialogue all day. Holly Klein, Shawshank Redemption. I think it still holds the highest rated IMDb rating. With I think it's a 9.2. Still, I think it's still number one. What a movie! Everybody should see Shawshank Redemption at least once before they die. They die. It's so good. It's so good. 7, great dialogue for sure. Yeah. What are some comedies that like you love the dialogue? I probably watched There Will Be Blood. Yes, Rosalia. That's a great one. Karate Kid. That's a good one. Exorcist 3 count. Brad Dourif's monologues for sure. Yeah. One thing you got to know about me, guys. I don't just love horror, and I'd even say getting into movies alone, I think I got into more like dramas and action movies, obviously, and gangster movies. I think those were the genres that really got me going with movies and loving cinema, But I've always loved horror, but I think like those are the movies. Like I don't always want to watch horror either. Like I was talking about, I was watching Carlito's Way last night, and that's just a comfort. That's like comfort cinema for me. I've seen Carlito's Way so many times because the dialogue is just so great in it, and how he just he wants to get out of this gangster life so bad. He got out of jail. He was supposed to do 30 years. He got out in 5 years because of a technicality. But the moral of the story is, no matter what you do, you get pulled back into the life. You know, you can't get out of it, and that's the message in Carlito's Way. And people don't talk about Carlito's Way as much as they do like The Godfather and Scarface, but I think it's every bit as good. It's one of the most underrated freaking gangster movies ever. Benny Blanco from the Bronx, young John Leguizamo. But it's one. If I had like a list, these are the movies that I've watched the most in my life. Carlito's Way would be on there. I literally have seen Carlito's Way probably a dozen times. You know. Do you like Bronx Tale? I have never seen Bronx Tale, funny enough. And I'm sure it's good. But I haven't seen it. Chester says, Lee, do you have favorite 80s action movies for me? Escape from New York, Big Trouble, Die Hard 1. 80s action, I always go for like First Blood. I love First Blood. I love Commando. Commando is one of my favorites. Rambo 2 is great. Die Hard, of course. I'm one of those guys that actually kind of prefers Die Hard with a Vengeance over Die Hard. I just think Die Hard with a Vengeance goes for it even more. It's bloodier. It's crazier. It's got little quizzes in the middle with the jugs of water. You know, it's got math in it. Dazed and Confused. Who mentioned Dazed and Confused? Yes, that's another one I've watched a million times. Just because, if you want to know, like the last day of graduation in high school, that pretty much sums it up. Dazed and Confused, and I think that one's set in Texas. So Destiny, you better tell me you've seen Dazed and Confused. But it's very similar. I mean, I graduated in 91, and it still feels pretty similar to graduating in 76, I believe, is when that's set. Yeah. You know, the early 90s really had a lot of these great movies with, you know, phenomenal dialogue. Like True Romance is another one I've seen a million times. You know, they're just movies you can throw on in the background. Okay, Destiny, good. That's good. I was worried. I just want to make sure. Okay, because I've seen Dazed and Confused so many freaking times. I can throw it on at any time. You know. No, Carly, you're gonna kill me. I've never seen Empire Records. I can't believe it. Wet Hot American Summer's really good. Yep. Deadhead, what's up, man? Django Unchained. Pretty much any Tarantino movie will qualify for this. You know, I could watch all of them. All of them. Trading Places, that's a good one. Love Trading Places. I love those 80s comedies, you know. I was just listening to my, again, 3 O'Clock High, guys. I know a lot of you guys haven't seen 3 O'Clock High. You will be thanking me. I just need to review 3 O'Clock High, okay? Because like Destiny's mentioned Ferris Bueller's Day Off, 3 O'Clock High is probably better, all right? It's one of those movies that just slipped through the cracks. Maybe it came out at the wrong time, but it feels like a John Hughes movie. It has music by Tangerine Dream, and it's got one of the most infectious premises I have ever seen. You know, the fight that happens at the end of the school day. You guys, have you ever had a fight that was supposed, not with you, but just you knew about a planned fight with two people at the end of the school day? I guarantee you, every single one of you have had that experience, have known about, hey, there's a fight at the end of the school day, you know? I've never been in a fight that was supposed to happen at the end of the school day, but I'm aware of some fights that were like, this guy said to this guy, me and you, we're going to fight at the end of the school day, okay? I do need to do an Empire Records review for sure, because I've always meant to watch that one too. Tangerine Dream, I think everything they score is so freaking good. They did Legend with Tom Cruise. Take a peapod pixie to make that climb. Yeah. Man, I could talk 80s comedies, all like the raunchy 80s comedy. Like, I think those days are gone, which, by the way, guys, I just saw No Hard Feelings. it was refreshing to have, because it's a raunchy comedy. You know, it's definitely got some raunch in it. And there's a scene on the beach. I'm not going to spoil it for you, but that scene is worth the price of admission alone. Okay, it's a shocking, funny scene that has to be seen, and make sure you don't get spoiled. Okay, but the movie, like Jennifer Lawrence, I'm not like the biggest Jennifer Lawrence fan, but she's hilarious in the movie. It's really, really good, and it's got like that kind of like that "Can't Buy Me Love" feel to it, you know, which is another great '80s movie. It's a similar type plot. So, yeah, you guys got to watch No Hard Feelings. Make that movie be successful, okay? Because right now, there's just so much freaking superhero bullshit out there. And I'm just like, I'm almost done with it, okay? I want to return to good quality comedies, dramas. You know, when's the last time we had a great freaking gangster movie? You know? I need a return to just good variety. I guess that's what I'm talking about, okay? Because everything now is just sequels and you know, superheroes. I think superhero fatigue is a real thing. And the movie can still be good, but you can be sick of it, okay? Yeah. All right, we got 10 more minutes, guys. What do you got for me? Come on, give me some questions. Give me some questions. Heavenly Kid. I think I saw Heavenly Kid. Chris Nutter said, I saw a short clip from The Irishman. It was 88 minutes long. The Irishman is 4 hours long, but I look at it as, you know, I mean, you can binge watch a TV. Guys, do you think there's a difference? If you can, because everybody complains about movies being too long, but yet you can watch, 8 episodes of a show. Is there a difference? Maybe there is, you know, in terms of like pacing. Because I guess TV shows, they wrap everything up in an hour and get you kind of squared away for the next episode. Whereas movies, you're kind of in it and you can't pull yourself out of it unless you like just turn it off, you know? So I guess I answered my own question. I guess there is a difference. There is a difference. Now, there are some movies, though, that I think you can watch an hour at a time and it feels like you're doing a TV show. You mean give me an example? All right. Lord of the Rings, okay? Lord of the Rings extended editions. If you were to watch all 3 Lord of the Rings extended editions, it's around 12 hours long. Okay? It's around 12 hours long. But I've actually done this experiment. I made myself watch only an hour of that 12 hours. You know, so Fellowship of the Ring, 3 episodes. Two Towers, I think maybe 4 episodes, somewhere in there, you know. And so it worked. It worked. I was enthralled. So I would say that's the way you should watch the extended editions of Lord of the Rings. Watch them in hour increments. If at the end of the first hour you're like, I need more, go ahead and watch the second hour, okay? But only do an hour at a time, all right? Don't say an hour and a half after you do the first hour. Just do an hour at a time, stop, you know, and then do like a check, you know, a sanity check. Am I good now or do I need to keep watching, right? Chappie says, how about the Naked Gun trilogy and the first 4 scary movies? And superhero movie isn't just me, or do you just miss the spoof genre? There was you bring up a good question there, because remember, guys, the spoof genre, it was like a genre. And there was a good 5-year period where we were constantly getting spoof movies, almost too many of them. And I don't think it was the first one during that time frame, but Not Another Teen Movie, I think, was a big one. Now, I think one of the first ones I remember is Airplane. And I think the Airplane is like the granddaddy of all spoof movies, unmatched. You can't beat Airplane. It's a laugh riot, start to finish, and you could watch it. You could watch it over and over, and you can't get enough of it. So, Not Another Teen Movie is a really good spoof movie, though. But yeah, I think we're due for another spoof movie run. I'm surprised we don't have a good spoof movie for like comic book movies, as many of them as there have been. Spaceballs, yeah, that's a good one too. Really good one. Yeah, the spoof movie is an art in and of itself. It takes a lot of talent to write a good spoof movie, you know? And you can't beat Airplane. There's just no way. It's so freaking good. I don't even know if you could release Airplane today. It's definitely got some social things in there that might be a little edgy. But that's okay. It was a different time. It's a different time. But man, it's funny. It's funny. It doesn't hurt anybody's feelings. It's just, it just has a little bit of humor in there that might not be safe today. Okay? That's all I'm saying. Polly says, have you ever watched Alfred Hitchcock movies besides Psycho and The Birds? I love him as a director. Let me think now. You know what? Maybe not. I'm trying to think. No, I think that's the only two that I've watched is Psycho and The Birds. And shame on me for that because there's so many directors that have taken from his playbook, including De Palma. I know De Palma was a huge Alfred Hitchcock fan. So, yeah. You know what? Polly, I'm working my way back there, though, because I'm getting more into, like, early 70s, 60s type stuff. I'm really loving like my next Giallo review is actually Blood and Black Lace, which I think that one's from 68 somewhere. And boy, it feels like 60s too when you watch it. Yeah, I love that stuff though. It's just a different feel, Rosemary's Baby. Yeah. Loaded Weapon 1. Now, is that the one where they have the trailer? And then he walks in the trailer and it looks like a freaking mansion. Yeah, I love that stuff. Yeah, Polly, you probably could school me. Stan Helsing is there's a lot of terrible spoofs out there. Yeah. Naked Gun is one of the greats. Naked Gun for sure. The first one is, he's wearing a freaking condom. Because he says he wants to practice safe sex. And so they show them going to the bed and he has a full body condom on, O.J. Simpson was in there. Nordberg, Let's see. The sheriff is who's this? I'm missing the conversation. Which sheriff are you talking about there, Rosalia? He used the right paint to make the trailer look bigger. Yeah. Yeah. Now I'll say just not a spoof movie, but like one of my favorite 80s comedies is Better Off Dead. Man, that'd be a real shame when folks be throwing away a perfectly good white boy like that. That joke's been in 2 movies, by the way. It's been in that movie and Men at Work. Yeah. But Better Off Dead's another one that's like comfort. I could watch it over and over again. Blazing Saddles would definitely not be allowed today. At all. Last American Virgin. Guys, have you seen Last American Virgin? That's another one I can't recommend enough. I just picked up the Blu-ray. I think it was from Vinegar Syndrome. I can't remember. But I just picked it up. And or was it Vestron? It might be Vestron. Sebastian says, do you like watching Westerns like Magnificent Seven? I just saw that. How did you like it? I watched the remake of Magnificent Seven. I thought it was fine. But to me, nothing will ever beat Unforgiven. But I know I'm going to freaking piss some people off, but I've never seen The Outlaw Josie Wells. And funny enough, somebody sent me the VHS collection back there. So I need to watch them one day. But, the Man with No Name trilogy, I haven't seen those yet. So I don't really qualify, but I'll say right now, Unforgiven is one of my all-time favorite movies. And that's a Western. 10 to Midnight, or not 10 to Midnight, I'm sorry. 3:10 to Yuma is a great Western. There's a few, Young Guns and Young Guns 2. I say Young Guns 2 is even better than Young Guns. Young Guns 2 I've seen 1,000,000 times. I'll Make You Famous. Yeah. Absolutely love you. Tombstone, another freaking great one. Tombstone. Val Kilmer might be my favorite performance of his in Tombstone. Yeah, you can't beat Tombstone. Tombstone versus Wyatt Earp. I'll take Tombstone all day. all day. Yeah. Yeah, Clint Eastwood is like the Western king. But Unforgiven, that movie won Best Picture, guys. 1992, okay? Give it a chance, I'm telling you. And I've often compared Unforgiven to Halloween Ends, okay? And maybe that's part of the reason why I loved Halloween Ends is because I got where they were going. I got what they were doing. Well, what if we have this killer, could be any killer. Let's take Michael Myers. What's it look like at the end of his life? You know, and after all the beat downs that he went through in Halloween Kills, you know, shot a million times, you know, that body's going to take some battle damage. So let's put him in a fractured state in Halloween Ends, and let's just explore that and see what that's like. I thought of William Money immediately when I watched Halloween Ends in the theater. William Money from Unforgiven is this character in Clint Eastwood, and in his heyday, he was the most dangerous gunslinger imaginable. If he walked into a room, you ran the fuck out, okay? Scariest guy imaginable. But in Unforgiven, he's at the end of his life. He's got, his wife died. He's got 2 kids. He's broken down. He's not a drunk anymore. You know, he's just at the end of his life. And the legend is there, but he's not that anymore. You know, and so I think that's kind of what I was channeling when I was watching Halloween Ends, and I got a lot of enjoyment out of it. And really kind of the stories are similar too, because this is a guy that's kind of on his way down, and then you got this young character in the movie that wants to be him, that's on his way up. Same thing with Halloween Ends, you know? I might clip this fucking out. Holy shit. Damn it. So yeah. Unforgiven is a beautiful movie. Beautiful freaking movie. Okay? It was a woman's tender love that softened his heart, you know? That took down the most dangerous outlaw ever. Right? So Galfer's dog says, Lee, if you like Unforgiven, watch The Shootist with John Wayne. Basically the same movie. Oh, okay. All right. Yeah. Holly says, Lee, do you watch The Last Drive-In with Joe Bob? Now, I will say, Holly, I do, when I'm going on Shudder, every now and then I'll throw on Joe Bob in the background. It's great to watch in the background because Joe Bob, man, he can really... He has verbal diarrhea in the best way, okay? And the man is like an encyclopedia of horror knowledge, and I can just sit back and listen to him. Now, have I watched an entire episode? No, because most of the time those episodes are like 3 hours long. So, but yeah, I love Last Drive-In. It's great stuff, which is that was kind of my inspiration for, you know, during the Halloween season. You know, I called it like Drumdums Live-In, which is kind of like, you know. So yeah, Joe Bob is a freaking legend. He's a freaking legend. Chappie, I have not watched Always Shine yet. It's on my list. Oh my God, I'm so freaking busy with crazy shit. But it's definitely on my list to get to. And I'm sure I'll love it when I watch it too. I'm looking forward to it. But just be a little patient for sure. Like, there's been a few reviews that I was way late on watching, and when I watched them I was like, God, man, I wish I would have watched that earlier because that was fantastic. Okay. Ross Silly says, have you watched Two Mules for Sister Sarah? I've heard of that one. I have not seen that one. Now I will say I watched Play Misty for Me recently. That one's on Netflix, and I've always been curious about that movie because it's like an obsession type of movie. It's fantastic. It's fantastic. Clint Eastwood, 1971, I think. Play Misty for Me. What a great... I loved it. That's a great obsession movie, you know? And Clint Eastwood, he's like a real man in that movie. You know, he's a freaking badass. But he's got this woman that just, she will not go away. You know, he can't get her off of him. And it's fantastic. So, yeah. Oh, God. Okay. All right, it's 9:04, so I think it's gonna be. We're gonna close it off. But man, I could freaking answer questions all night with you guys. This is fun. But Sebastian says, anybody fan of Adam Sandler movies? I love Zohan, Billy Madison. I think everybody has an Adam Sandler movie that they like. I don't like all his movies. But I love Billy Madison, and I love Happy Gilmore. And what's the one that he's got the son? Big Daddy. I like Big Daddy. I like a lot of his 90s movies. Okay? But yeah, guys, thank you so much for hanging out with me tonight. I had a really good time. Again, make sure you check out Drumdums Extra, the channel. I'm putting a lot of my clips on that channel amongst other content. Main Drumdums channel still going strong, but this just gives me a little bit more freedom. All right, that's the purpose for Drumdums Extra. If I can upload more content that I want to upload, and I can talk about anything with Extra. It's just a fun channel. It's not something that I'm being, overly observant with the algorithm. If I want to, when in doubt, I put it on Extra. Okay, so the link is right up there. Take a second, click on it, check it out. If you like it, hit the subscribe button. Okay, we're up to 600, and in 2 days I'm already up to 620 subscribers, which is awesome. I can't thank you guys enough. Gary says, just watch the Dollars trilogy for the first time. Oh my God, they are good. I'm sure they are amazing. I'm sure I'm gonna love them. So I'll definitely do that, Gary. I'll definitely do that. Okay. Did somebody say D-Watch? Did somebody say D-Watch? I'm due for another D-Watch. I need to do a D-Watch. Somebody asked me to do a D-Watch for Terminator 2 recently. I don't know. I'm planning on doing something. I'm going to do another D-Watch here soon, though. Okay? But anyway, guys, love you. Take care of each other. Be good to each other, people. Okay? Be nice to somebody this week. All right? You guys are